Hello. Right, welcome to another instalment. I just want to basically show you this. So share my screen. Hopefully this will come up. Now then, hopefully we can all see that. So here we go. Sorry. Yeah. So this presentation is a technique, words within words, I've called it, and it explores a visual communication technique. So the following presentation highlights how a designer or creative has primarily used the written word to illustrate the idea or concept. Now, what sets the following examples apart is the economy and restraint that has been employed by the designer by merely finding a solution within the words or language that surround each subject. There also appears to be an effortless feel to these design solutions that belies the fact that each and every designer has had to work very hard to strive to find the solution. However, at some point on their creative journey, they've had a eureka moment. A connection or series of connections has been made, and in order to achieve this, they've employed one or more of the following techniques. They have consistently kept an open mind. They have visually interrogated the surrounding words and language. They've exploited the incidental. They've embraced serendipity, which is a happy accident, if you don't quite know what that means, or happenstance, a chance occurrence. They've approached the problem both laterally and also from 360 degrees in the round. They've applied a relevant or appropriate technique to enhance the concept, and they've looked and looked and looked again. So yeah, so I'm going to show you some examples of what exactly that means. So if you can see this one here, this is, well, it's a quote from Dennis Hopper, the Hollywood actor who appeared in Apocalypse Now, very famous film, Vietnam film. But within that film, his character says, "Did you ever realise that if is the middle word of life?" I think it's from Rudyard Kipling. Everybody should watch Apocalypse Now. But that's quite an interesting intro to it. The second one to show you is Brains, A1 Ale. Brains are a very old brand, cask brewing in Cardiff for 125 years. And what the designers have done here is very old. It's one of the first examples, probably. This is taken from, I think it's taken from Alan Fletcher's house looking sideways. But A1 means something that's tip-top, really good. I think it's a shipping thing, actually. But A1, so very good. So the designers have spotted that and enhanced that. For Brains, A1A, or AOK. So I think that's one of the first examples, of that over 125 years ago. This one's taken from the first version of Smile in the Mind for the Earth Art Institute. So it's like one powerful word hidden within another. Obviously, there's circle in the background there to signify the Earth. But, again, a word within a word. This one's The Partners, I think. This was done for 50 years of Vidal Sassoon. Vidal Sassoon, the famous 60s hairdresser. Slight tweak, very, very simply, by making the second S of Sassoon, sort of like a 5. So a stylish combination of both the name and the number. This one is a student project back in the 80s in Preston. And this is apartheid. In South Africa was divided between the whites and the blacks. The whites ruled, but Afrikaan, which was the name for the white Africans, and Afrikaant. So a nice twist there. So cans and the can'ts, the haves and have-nots. Afrikaan, Afrikaant. Nice use of colour as well. Very simple use of sort of black and white, or black and colour, should I say. Well, this one's by The Chase. I think this was done in the late 80s. This is a great example, I think, of looking at something. Wilson Express was the name of a new delivery service that covered the entire country. By looking long and hard, the designer on this found the solution within the words. And I always think it's a really good thing, personally, when you have an identity or a word mark, is just to simply look at the word in setting capitals or up in lowercase, maybe in sans serif or different faces, and just really look at it. But the solution here is really lovely. So Wilton Express there with the compass, because it delivers around the country, north, west, east and south. So I'll just flip back to that, because I think it's worth going back. So what the designer's done is made that eureka moment where they've realised that Wilton Express begins with a W for west, ends with an N for north, starts with an E for east, ends with an S for south. Now, in itself, that is a really interesting observation. But to actually make it work is another thing. And the designers had to work very hard to work. Lovely sort of spacing. If you really look at that logotype there, how they've done it. So yeah, so it's really, really, really well crafted. So great observation, well crafted and well presented. This one is classic by Dominic Lipper. Dominic Lipper now partner at Pentagram. This was done quite a while ago, a long time ago, when he had his own agency, Lipper Pierce. This is for Witness, which is a human rights charity. It's children soldiers, infant soldiers, infantry. A lovely, lovely observation there. The word infant in the word infantry, coupled with the image. Fantastic. This one was done by a designer at the Chase, an ex-Preston student. I used to work with her actually, Rita Kinsella, I think her name was. It's a lovely little self-initiated project. You know, to do it yourself, a little Christmas card. But yeah, Christmas wouldn't be the same without Rita. What I love about this is that it's also in line as well. You know, it's not mixed up. You know, it's just taking the letters out of Christmas to make the word Rita. But again, great copywriting. Christmas wouldn't be the same without Rita. Again from the Chase, early 2000s. This is a wedding invite. Claire marrying Dave. So this is a trace overlay. So if you can see the bottom of it, you can see the little dots. So it opens up. So when you've got the wedding invite, it says Claire is marrying, and then you open it up, Dave. So this is a really, really clever piece of calligraphy. I think they commissioned a calligrapher to do this, but the designer spotted it, that it was possible to basically, you know, make that similarity between Claire and Dave, with the D and the C and the L and the I. So really, really, really nice, but very, very well crafted. It's a classic one again, being AD, I think, but I think hopefully you're all aware of Friends. But this was for the final ever episode of Friends. Been running for so long, it was a really major thing, you know what I mean? But and that's obviously using the title graphics for Friends. Ends on Friday. So by just taking the FRI in front of Friends and moving it, you end up with a fantastic, fantastic piece of simple design. A descriptive expletive. This is one that I did years ago, spotting the word arse and the word coarse. And coarse language is vulgar language. So just the fact that the word coarse has the word arse in it, which would be considered to be a piece of vulgar language. Arse. Book cover. This was a fantastic book cover design for Pan books. Brilliant sort of observation. Fasting and feasting. So by putting the cutlery across the E, you end up with fasting. Fasting is obviously not eating, and then feasting is overeating or indulging. So you know, another great example. This was done by Ben Casey in the Chase. Fantastic piece of typography. Fantastic long form piece of typography. This is a calendar for charity. But this was the introduction page underneath the front cover. But what is lovely about this is the way it's written. And it was all called A Sense of Duty. And it was to raise money for different charities, 6 different charities. But it really comes into all like that there. So that was the front cover. And as you can see, it says A Sense of Duty. Running down, and that was cut out crossword fashion. But if you look at it, it's in there. But the typography again is fantastically copywritten and crafted to be able to do that, to actually write that, and then also design it so you actually do end up with that. It takes a considerable amount of time and effort, but well worth it. IKEA, is it a good idea? Cut and paste, simple observation, cut it round. So you can manipulate a word within a word as well. This was Manchester Evening News, moving card or moving flyer, done by Lionel Hatch, I think. Again, just by creasing a piece of paper, taking the Manchester Evening News and creasing it so many times to say it and then down so it's moving. So when you got it, it said moving, you opened it up, Manchester Evening News. And they were moving offices from one place to another, from Manchester. I think I put this one in because it had United and TED, the TED Talks. So hopefully everybody's aware of those. If you're not, check out the TED Talks. Ideas United in Amsterdam. So that'll be a poster for TED Talk, a convention in Amsterdam. This is back to 1 week project at Preston. I think this was done by Preston students. Jenny Spiller, or Potts as is now. Lovely observation. Ha Ha and Charlie Chaplin. Obviously Charlie Chaplin was a famous comedian. So Ha Ha, the laughter. Very simply made in bold as well. Typography, appropriate as well, I think. Appropriate typeface. This again was done by a Preston student for the final year. I think it was Matty. Can't forget his surname. But sorry, Matt. Yeah, this is again for bailiffs. What's ours is yours. Just taking one thing away, making what's yours ours. Just a little identity for bailiffs. They kept the idea going as well. So what if I owe people money? You can't just barge into my house and take it away. The little guy taking the tea away. So being able to take words off words. Nice. This was a D&AD winner, well, way back 2002, 3, something like that maybe. Nomination. It was for the Advertising Standards Authority, and they're the people who basically you can complain to if you see something on TV that's you might be upsetting or misleading or something like that. So we believe that everyone should have a say, and that was really nice. And there was a whole load of those really done. And this was the same brief, and this one actually. This was done by Sean Cullen. He won a D&AD yellow pencil for this. And the real key to this was basically, again, it was the Advertising Standards Authority brief, which again was getting people to understand what the ASA was, and if they did basically see anything advertised that was misleading or upsetting or whatever, they could actually write in. So the real key to this was a difference a letter can make, because it was all about writing a letter to complain. So once you had that line, that was a eureka moment, really. And then you started to look for words where you took a letter away. Okay, so I think I'll have to zoom into this. It's kind of if you see an offensive or misleading advertising in the media, in any media other than TV or radio, or receive an unfair sales promotion, stop itching and do something about it. Complaining writing. So the missing there was bitch, I think, or prick. So here are some of the ones. So they all had one letter missing, and the difference the letter can make. I think it was create a ripple. This again was another nice piece. This was not the whole project, but it was a title cover for it. It was all about fairy tales and make believe, but the word lie within the word make believe. Written by Karen Hughes at Edge Studios, and I forget his name now. But yeah, lovely observation. This is a fantastic piece of work, a D&AD silver by Marcus from the Chase, about 1993, I think, something like that, 92, it says at the bottom there. Yeah. This was Manchester Fine Art Degree show. This is lovely, because it kind of like, as it was a poster, but obviously the first thing you read is the expletive, fuck off. But it isn't. There's a little asterisk thing, look down, and you draw into the poster and it says fine art. So it challenges your assumptions, which essentially is what art is about, really. So it was a lovely piece of work. Very simple observation that the word fine art has the same amount of letters as the expletive that I've just mentioned. Again, this is another classic one as well. This was done by French Connection UK. This was done by Trevor Beatty in 1997. Written out on a napkin. It says at the bottom of the notice that basically French Connection used to abbreviate FC UK on internal memos, and the idea evolved into a huge advertising campaign. At the time, it was massive, and like I said, it was all over the place. French Connection, yourself, FC UK advertising, and so these are some of the adverts for it as well. I particularly like this because you've got to read it jumbled up. They're doing it in the sea, but yeah, you could obviously French Connection. You can have so much fun with it, and obviously, it was it was shocking, but not shocking. You know what I mean? It's kind of, it was sort of, I don't know, it was one of those. This is more recent, done by Mark Studios in Manchester, for Manchester City. So electricity, ferocity, tenacity, velocity, vivacity. So again, simple, making an observation, working with that, and then using language to, couple with image. Again, this was a pitch for Mitchell and Kenyon Cinema, which is on the university campus. This identity here was done by again Karen Hughes, I think, and Steve Contry, the Chase, Preston. So Mitchell and Kenyon. So again, just changing the colour of the ON, and it's got legs. You can lights, camera, action. Once you've got that, what's on now, what's on soon. So this is a pitch. So therefore, you just get a flavour of what it could be. I don't know whether this one went ahead or not. As it really actually the client went for it. A couple more there. Packaging and youth justice, trust. So yeah, I mean, I could go on. This is really nice actually. Thinking about cystic fibrosis is what exactly? This is done by Johnson Branks. So this is taking the end of fibrosis, which is an itinerary, and nobody really knew what cystic fibrosis is. So therefore, this is the brand and design that Michael Johnson did. So in no uncertain terms, it tells you what cystic fibrosis is. But they have an asset there that they can begin to use. As you can see here, it's a gift that just keeps giving. Once you have something like this, cystic fibrosis is a race we must win. Cystic fibrosis is worth a minute of your time. Cystic fibrosis is a reason I run. And then you can see how he's applied it to the front of the shop, literature, merchandising, cups and things. And then Alzheimer's UK, done by Mike Rigby when he was at Interbrand in Sydney. This is a fantastic piece of design. It's a flexible logo that changes and evolves to communicate different messages. It uses 2 colours and often just 4 words for the idea to communicate the name of the organisation and highlights the problem as well. So understand Alzheimer's, educate Australia, fight Alzheimer's, save Australia, against Alzheimer's, for Australia, oppose Alzheimer's, support Australia. And so it goes on. But then when it's applied to relevant things, kick Alzheimer's, save Australia, delete Alzheimer's, save Australia on the memory stick, wipe out on the surfboard, Alzheimer's, surf Australia, and then good night Alzheimer's, wake up Australia, and the coffee as well. So this is well worth checking out. This piece of work. There's some really nice moving image to it as well. And then just finally, I think a book worth getting. Words Fail Me on Fadian. Great book. Very easy, very digestible, quite fun. Doesn't take long to read. But why is abbreviation such a long word? Don't know. Why is Lisp so hard to say if you have them? Quite a lot is a large amount, but then quite a few is also a large amount. Being blunt can also result in a cutting remark. And with a quick shuffle of letters, a funeral can be real fun. And of course, Elvis lives. So a lot of wordplay in there, a lot of words are in there. So hopefully this little presentation has opened your eyes to the technique of words within words and looking. So really looking at something and finding things like that. I mean, it won't be a solution all the time, but it's something to have in your arsenal, as you say, or on your tool belt or part of your toolkit. So this presentation is on the Disciples of Design, and we'll be putting it on Blackboard, so you'll be able to go through it in your own time. And what I would suggest is that basically maybe you start collecting your own. You'll see them, once you start looking for words in words, you'll find them everywhere. I was looking at the travel section actually recently with some supplement. It has the word rave in it. So travel is because rave right in the middle of it. I think they're on there. And yeah, so if you ever fancy raving and travelling, then off you go. Okie dokie. I think that's enough of that.